The theme for the reading tonight is, With God, All Things Are Possible. And now, the Bible will be read by Fairley from Maryland.
Luke. There was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias of the course of Abiah. And his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. And they were both righteous before God, walking in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord, blameless. And they had no child, because that Elizabeth was barren. And they both were now well stricken in years. And it came to pass that while he executed the priest's office before God in the order of his course, there appeared unto him an angel of the Lord, standing on the right side of the altar of incense. And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. But the angel said unto him, Fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John. And thou shalt have joy and gladness, and many shall rejoice at his birth. And many of the children of Israel shall he turn to the Lord their God. And Zacharias said unto the angel, Whereby shall I know this? For I am an old man, and my wife well stricken in years. And the angel answering said unto him, I am Gabriel, that stand in the presence of God, and am sent to speak unto thee, and to show thee these glad tidings. And behold, thou shalt be dumb, and not able to speak, until the day that these things shall be performed, because thou believest not my words, which shall be fulfilled in their season. Luke. A certain blind man sat by the wayside begging. And hearing the multitude pass by, he asked what it meant. And they told him that Jesus of Nazareth passeth by. And he cried, saying, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy on me. And they which went before rebuked him that he should hold his peace. But he cried so much the more, Thou son of David, have mercy on me. And Jesus stood and commanded him to be brought unto him. And when he was come near, he asked him, saying, What wilt thou that I shall do unto thee? And he said, Lord, that I may receive my sight. And Jesus said unto him, Receive thy sight. Thy faith hath saved thee. And immediately he received his sight and followed him, glorifying God, And all the people, when they saw it, gave praise unto God. Matthew. And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed. For oft times he falleth into the fire, and oft into the water. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. Then Jesus answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Jesus rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him. And the child was cured from that very hour. Then came the disciples to Jesus apart and said, Why could not we cast him out? And Jesus said to them, Because of your unbelief. For verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove. And nothing shall be impossible unto you. And all things, whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing, ye shall receive.
The correlative reading will now be given by Elizabeth from Georgia.
I will read from Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures and Miscellaneous Writings by Mary Baker Eddy. The prayer that reforms the sinner and heals the sick is an absolute faith that all things are possible to God, a spiritual understanding of Him, an unselfed love. Late in the 19th century, I demonstrated the divine rules of Christian Science. They were submitted to the broadest practical test, and everywhere, when honestly applied under circumstances where demonstration was humanly possible, this science showed that truth had lost none of its divine and healing efficacy, even though centuries had passed away since Jesus practiced these rules on the hills of Judea and in the valleys of Galilee. God unfolded the way, the demonstration thereof was made, and the certainty of its value to the race firmly established. I had found unmistakably an actual, unfailing causation enshrined in the divine principle and in the laws of man and the universe, which, never producing an opposite effect, demonstrated Christianity and proved itself science, for it healed the sick and reformed the sinner on a demonstrable principle and given rule. Divine life, truth, love is the basic principle of all science. It solves the problem of being, and nothing that worketh ill can enter into the solution of God's problems. God is mind, and divine mind was first chronologically, is first potentially, and is the healer to whom all things are possible. Christian Science is a divine largesse, a gift of God, understood by and divinely natural to him who sits at the feet of Jesus, clothed in truth, who is putting off the hypothesis of matter because he is conscious of the allness of God, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. Thus the great way-shower, invested with glory, is understood, and his words and works illustrate the way, the truth, and the life. Whoever reaches the understanding of Christian Science in its proper signification will perform the sudden cures of which it is capable. But this can be done only by taking up the cross and following Christ in the daily life. Science can heal the sick who are absent from their healers, as well as those present, since space is no obstacle to mind. Immortal mind heals what eye hath not seen, but the spiritual capacity to apprehend thought and to heal by the truth power is one only as man is found, not in self-righteousness, but reflecting the divine nature. Man is God's image and likeness. Whatever is possible to God is possible to man as God's reflection. Through the transparency of science, we learn this and receive it. Learn that man can fulfill the scriptures in every instance, that if he open his mouth, it shall be filled, not by reason of the schools or learning, but by the natural ability that reflection already has bestowed on him to give utterance to truth. Who hath believed our report? Who understands these sayings? He to whom the arm of the Lord is revealed, to whom divine science unfolds omnipotence, that equips man with divine power while it shames human pride. Asserting a selfhood apart from God is a denial of man's spiritual sonship, for it claims another father. As many as do receive a knowledge of God through science will have power to reflect his power in proof of man's dominion over all the earth. The law of Christ or truth makes all things possible to spirit, but the so-called laws of matter would render spirit of no avail and demand obedience to materialistic codes, thus departing from the basis of one God, one lawmaker. To suppose that God constitutes laws of inharmony is a mistake. Discords have no support from nature or divine law, however much is said to the contrary. When we come to have more faith in the truth of being than we have in error, more faith in spirit than in matter, more faith in living than in dying, more faith in God than in man, then no material suppositions can prevent us from healing the sick and destroying error. Christian Science is dawning upon a material age. The great spiritual facts of being, like rays of light, shine in the darkness, though the darkness, comprehending them not, may deny their reality. The proof that the system stated in this book is Christianly scientific resides in the good this system accomplishes, for it cures on a divine, demonstrable principle which all may understand.